Align yourself with somebody who's obviously a one-term mayor. If he even makes it that far, you better be worrying about your job. You better be worrying about your longevity, because we're going to vote and we're going to get you out because you ain't doing right by us. That's what time it is.
This migrant issue has become an Achilles heel for Mayor Brandon Johnson, so much so that there are now multiple efforts underway to vote out Democrats and the mayor. We saw that yesterday at the city council meeting, where several groups of black voters showed up wearing red shirts with the words "No More Blue, Go Red," and "Turn Chicago Red." Many of these folks are lifelong Democrats who are now actively working to shake up deep blue Chicago, specifically because of how the mayor and the governor have handled the migrant crisis, doling out more than $1 billion so far for that. And here they are warning the mayor and city council about transferring another $70 million from the city's rainy day fund to take care of the migrants.
So I'm asking y'all to use our tax money for our people. We need it.
You vote for the money for these immigrants today, and we coming for them seats. You can believe that.
The police are fighting with them in the shelters that you guys are funding. You guys think it's a great idea, but yet your police officers are getting attacked. Your public's getting attacked.
We've never had this opportunity to recall before, and it's very apparent based on the mayor's abilities right now, or lack of accountability, that this needs to be addressed.
Yeah, Mayor Johnson is dismissing this recall effort as a right-wing effort from folks living out in the suburbs. But Dan laughed at that, saying he's lived in Chicago for 33 years. He is an independent. And in the 24 hours since news came out about this effort, he said there's been an outpouring support from folks of all backgrounds looking to sign on.
P. Ray Easley is a strong voice to listen to. She's been speaking out lately. P. Ray, what's your reaction to this report? What do you think of this new agenda to get the black vote from Kamala Harris? Many people, including in states like California, who've seen moves like this, these ideas, have said, wait a second, all taxpayers, black voters too, will have to pay for it. Trillions of dollars in tax hikes to pay for it.
This is absolute pandering. Black men have decided that they are moving on from the Democratic Party, as well as black women. Now they want to throw these pie in the sky ideas at us. The pandering is absolutely insulting and very disrespectful. I think that if they spoke to us like regular Americans rather than a charity that must be pitied, then they would get further. But they don't respect us enough to speak to us like full Americans.
You know, and then you got this. The Wall Street Journal is now breaking news that Kamala Harris campaign says her new handout, you know, the $20,000 loans, $1 million loans, she's now going to open it to all Americans on a race-neutral basis. She's talking government bailouts, free loans for everybody, for all entrepreneurs. Everybody's going to have to pay for that, P. Ray.
Well, again, this is all pandering, because initially she said that this was her plan for black men, and then black men did not take the bait. We know from history that she's not going to do anything. All spending packages have to go through the Congress, and so she doesn't get to decide whether or not she's going to give $20,000 to 300 million people. It's absolutely asinine, and I think that the issue is that they're focused more on performative actions than actually giving us policies, because although she said that she's moving on, she's still a part of the Biden-Harris campaign.
This is after Bill Clinton and Joe Biden also blundered telling the truth. P. Ray, just sit and listen to this. Watch.
You had a case in Georgia not very long ago, didn't you? They made an ad about it, about a young woman who'd been killed by an immigrant. Yeah, well, if they'd all been properly vetted, that probably wouldn't have happened. But if they're all properly vetted and that doesn't happen, we got to lock him up.
Oh, really? Lock him up. Did you catch that, P. Ray? So the quiet part out loud. Lock up in jail Donald Trump. That's what they've been trying to do. When you heard these blunders, Bill Clinton saying they're coming across unvetted, Obama saying inflation is still too high under Biden and Harris, Joe Biden saying lock up Trump, which is what he says they've been trying to do for years. How do voters react to all this?
We look at it as if this is a vendetta against the president and they're not working for the American people. They know exactly what's going on. They know that inflation is high. They know that healthcare is too expensive. They know that we have unvetted people coming across the border. But rather than solve those problems, their issue is maintaining power. Their issue is that they know that President Trump is the clear winner here. And their goal is to mentally trick and deceive the people into voting for them, again, in an emotional sense. But being hungry is emotional. Not being able to pay your bills is emotional. Yeah. Being afraid that your children may not come home. Those things are emotional.
Black vote, what was it, 10 or 11 points, 9 points last time around? That could be a game changer for him in this race. Joining me now, Mark Carter, Chicago resident and activist. Also with me, Osiris Sumler.
Biden let in so many illegal immigrants, and to see the Democrats talk about the illegals and how they have to protect them and we can't deport anyone is very frustrating. And I think to see gangs and so many illegal immigrants walking through the neighborhoods, and we have to see them digging in their garbage cans, and it's really crazy. The media doesn't see it, but normal, everyday Chicagoans, we see it every day.
Well, I saw it today out on the streets. Mark, everyone should know they just did a big group photo, and they got everyone to just still for a few seconds. So that's an accomplishment. So they just checked that box tonight. It's a divide between black women and black men politically that seems to be developing.
I think a lot of black men have been incarcerated. A lot of our uncles and fathers have been in jail. So a lot of people, older black men, can relate to that, like the system going after Donald Trump. And overall, he's just a gangster. You know, he tells it like it is. He keeps it real. And I think that with black women, unfortunately, a lot of celebrities, a lot of the media, the BET Awards, for example, that plays a big influence.
Mark, Michael Singleton was on CNN today talking about black men migrating to the Republican Party. This was his take.
Black men have seen in many ways the erosion of their economic power. Black men are not graduating college at the same rates of black women. Men in general are not graduating from college or ascertaining the same economic gains.
He got almost no credit for that. I mean, he might as well have been just kicking a can down the road because the press basically gave it a big yawn. But people are not as dumb as the media, and I think a lot of these Democrats want them to be, or think they are.
I think because the media, you know, we live in two separate worlds. They live in a world where Republicans are evil and they're racist, and we live in the real world where we can see the effects of Donald Trump's policy, how it benefited a lot of black people. Alice Marie Johnson, for example, and a lot of black people who have been freed from the incarceration. And we know Biden's crime bill. We know Kamala Harris was busted out by Tulsi Gabbard last debate cycle. So black people, we are not falling for the propaganda. We are in the hood. Most people in my hood are stumping for Trump, and I'm definitely stumping for Trump this November.
Definitely.